Couldn't be worse. I'm hurt.
She said hurt people, yeah. She said hurt people, yeah. She said hurt people.
What up, everybody? It's your boy. We are the Xbox Bums. Welcome to Garage Talk, episode 2. I'm your host, IG High Roller. To my left, we have
Spaceman.
To my right, we have
Oreo.
To my right, we have
Domo.
And last but not least, the Fat Man.
King Sludgy, thanks you, Dark Side.
Yes, sir. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Today we have a very touchy topic to talk about. Yes, we're going there. Vegas, that's right. We just want to send our condolences out to everybody out there. Sludgy, what do you have to say about the Vegas shooting?
Alright, I have family out there. When I found out about this, I was on the freeway coming back from a district meeting. Roxy was telling me about it, and then I kind of hit a spot because I was trying to get a hold of my cousin. But as soon as he seen my texts, I knew that motherfucker was okay. So it was like, alright, cool. My family's straight. But a piece of me has little conspiracy theorists in it, where it's like, what the fuck? Like, but for the victims and those fallen heroes that shield their wives, those people right there, my heart goes out to the most. The victims, I am sorry that you guys went through that horrific event. It shouldn't happen in American soil. We should know better as American people, but it happened.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. Yes. Spaceman, your take?
I mean, it's truly a tragedy what's happened. For everyone that's lost their lives, for those who have been injured, you know, we have our condolences for you, our prayers. For those who are helping, you're doing a great job. For those who shielded people who they didn't even know, you know, you guys are real heroes, and you deserve to be honored in the news and everything in the midst of this tragedy. Hopefully, what you've done will show people that they too should be kind and help out others, and hopefully this will help waking up our eyes for the other issues we have going on in the country, and realize that we are all people, we all have families, and we all need help.
That's right. Good. Oreo.
Basically what they said, thank you to everybody that helped out. Thank you for all the people that donated their blood. You guys are awesome. And just prayers go out to everybody out there in Vegas and everything else that happened around the world also. You know, prayers go out to the world.
That's right. Domo.
Honestly, just glad everybody's okay right now. Sorry for the fallen. The numbers that are still rising from basically the critical care right now from what they're saying. You know, people donating blood. Condolences to you guys and your family. Mm-hmm. The heroes out there. Keep your heads up, man.
As you can see, it's emotional, people. I don't know anybody in Vegas. Oh, actually I do. I got my uncle out there. It's very emotional, and honestly, we're not safe anymore. We're not safe. I don't know what the guy motive was. They still haven't even announced it. So I actually want to talk about that. Like, what do you think? Like, from what I read so far, I read that this guy, he used to be a bank robber back in 1976. He was a huge bank robber. They pulled up his file, the FBI did, and you know, he went by some code name or whatever. So, but after like going through his whole history, that's what they found on him. He was a huge bank robber. So his wife left him, went to the Philippines, and he sent her $100,000 to the Philippines. Now, I don't know if that was the money that he used from the bank robbery, but I would assume so, because he was known for robbing a lot of banks. Let's talk about that a little bit. What do you think his motive was to do something crazy like this, Sludgy?
Skip me, dude, because honestly, my conspiracy theorist side, there's more than one shooter, and there's actually footage from other people that were there from their Snap, Instagram, Facebook Live, showing different hotels where they had shooters there as well. Now, think about it. If you have 6 different locations where they're actually calling out shooters, and you actually see somebody who was with the cop, and the dispatcher's calling out different shots from different locations, and then you see the image of Mandalay Bay.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 windows that are shot out. The 12th floor, the 34th floor, and the one in the right corner. How is he going to run to all 3 locations? And there's actually a video showing him or the alleged person shooting from the 12th floor. How do you go from the 12th floor to 32nd floor with a matter of seconds?
On that, there's also a couple people, I think it was like on their Twitters and stuff, they said that they seen somebody in the crowd shooting also.
Yep.
I did read that one.
Yeah, I read.
Well, now, one of the things that I've seen that's going on online on Twitter, but not being publicized by the media, supposedly this was something from the Aryan Nation, supposedly about that, something about alt-left, whatever.
Antifa.
Yeah. So there's been that, the nationalists, it's been the conservatives doing it.
ISIS.
Honestly, supposedly ISIS claiming dibs on this. We don't know. But the fact that it occurred, it's a problem. Now, my main issue is, like, you know what? My constitutional rights. Mm-hmm. You're not taking away my weapons. You're not going to stop me from buying an AR at all. This incident's not going to change my mind because you became a victim. And I do apologize if I mean that in a sensitive way. But I'm not trying to say it that way. If it comes out that way, I do apologize. But my constitutional rights comes before even myself or my family. Because I have a right to bear arms and defend myself from my own country. It says that in the Constitution. For the government to try to do a ban or a limitation, why don't you make the test a little harder? Or have a psych evaluation for the test. Most military backgrounds, you go to the physical, do the training, you get a psych. Law enforcement, physical, psych. How about we get a gun, physical, psych evaluation? Well, we don't really need the physical, but a psych evaluation and then a written test will be phenomenal. We'll limit people from buying guns, it won't make those psychos, but I think it'll be a step to the right direction. But saying, no, we can't buy this gun, we can't buy that gun. They said, or meant rifles, we're supposed to own rifles. Fuck that. I have the ability to pursue my happiness. It says in the Constitution. It also says that I have to stand up to tyranny of my own government. That means the people have the power to overthrow the government if they choose to. But right now, what we're facing, we chose to point at fingers. You don't see a diabetic person pointing at a fork or a damn spoon, like, for my problems. Am I right?
I like it.
That's true.
So, with that being said, what do you think his motive was? Like, just throw it out there. What do you think? What made him go on that little rampage of his? There could be a number of things.
Okay,
Just give me one.
If it was really just him by himself, I don't know. He'll be better at it for me.
Okay.
I'd say.
Spaceman, come on in. What do you think his motive was?
It's really hard to say what, you know, anyone in these situations' true motives really are. I mean, some of the ones, like back in the day when, like, Columbine happened, it was kids getting bullied and wanting this. This man was what, like in his 60s, is like my father's age.
Like a real estate dude. Or...
So, I mean, to try to speculate what his motivation is, I mean, there could be something that happened personally in his life. I mean, from what I've read, even his family were shocked at this. As most cases are, because a lot of these people don't come across like they would do something like this. They don't really necessarily go share this information. That's why it happens. You know, in the incidences where they do say something, show something, even social media or close family, most of the time it gets taken seriously and it gets shut down real quick. And you never even hear about it. But these other incidences where the people keep it to themselves, they keep quiet, all of a sudden they just go out there and just start doing this stuff. You know, they pick their targets. Okay, criminals that want to commit these type of atrocities, They're not going to a police station where everyone's armed. They're not going into a military base where everyone's armed. They're going into places where they know people are not armed, cannot fire back immediately. They can do the most damage before help arrives. So, I mean, who knows what personally has happened to this man that just caused him to snap and decided to go on a rampage. Frustrations with life, maybe, work isn't going well, relationships at home wasn't going well, maybe his relationship with his kids wasn't going well, overtly frustrated and unable to properly deal with it, which is something I think has been a fault of our country for the last probably half a decade, if not, half a century, if not longer, that we're not properly preparing our people, our children for, hey, no, this isn't always going to be this way. There are right ways to fight it. There are wrong ways to fight it. But at the end of the day, we all have to stand up for our freedoms given to us in the Constitution. Because if we don't, we will lose them. If as a free nation, it's always been stated throughout our history from established that to be secure means you have to give up your freedom. If you want to be free, you are going to be less safe, but that's on you to be aware of your surroundings, to be educated, to understand, to be able to protect yourself. If you can't, then you want a dictatorship, you want a totalitarian government, you want to be controlled. I like freedom. I understand that every day I wake up, I might not come home, for whatever reason. I can get in a car accident just as much as I can get shot. If it happens, it happens. But at least I was free and able to do the things I enjoy while I could.
I like it. I really do. Before I go back to you, Sludgy, I want to say that I don't know. You said that, it could be like family problems, bad relationships with his kids and stuff, his marriage gone wrong and stuff. Personally, I think that his doctor, because he's 60 something years old, I think his doctor stopped prescribing him like Viagra. That's how I feel, And then once man find out that he can't fuck anymore or use his shit, then he's gonna go on a rampage. I mean, I know I would. See what I'm saying? No? Okay.
Alright, so I found an article that says that he was the son of a bank robber who was once on the FBI's most wanted list. And then I found out that this fool not only planned, 32nd floor, my bad, but there's still allegations out there where he was on the 12th floor.
And the 5th.
And the 5th, yep. This dude had cameras set up in the hallway by his suite and in the people. Yo, he had months and time to plan this shit out. And if he did this alone, in that room by himself, there's still so many holes in this. And I don't trust the media.
It's Vegas, there's a lot of hoes.
Oh, yeah.
And that is true.
And it comes back.
I like what you said there, because I know what I just said was bullshit. Okay? It was supposed to be bullshit. But this is what I don't understand, people, is that research said that he got to the hotel 3 days before the shooting. 3 days. Now, of course you can't just bring a whole bunch of guns into a hotel. Someone's going to notice all that shit. So that's 3 days to bring stuff in through a golf bag, those long bags. You can bring AR rifles in there. Suitcases, you can bring SMGs in there. It's just a bunch of stuff. So he had time to plan this out. He did. My thing is, how come no one noticed? Every hotel that I've been to, there has been laser, or what is it, detectors, right?
Metal detectors.
Yeah, metal detectors.
What fucking hotels you go to?
Compton hotels.
Motel 6 ain't
But
safe.
In California.
But I have been to hotels with metal detectors in it.
Probably EAS. It's EAS alarms,
Uh-huh.
EMS alarms, electromagnetic system.
Right.
Those metal detectors are probably just security tag sensors, not metal detectors.
Okay.
Like in case someone will shoplift or something. I can see the confusion there.
Yeah.
But
I was confused.
I'm glad. I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
And I'm glad you're going that way.
Go ahead and take the floor
Can
since
I
I
add
wasn't
something
done.
real
But go ahead.
quick?
Yeah.
All right. I did have a couple friends there, and they did say, I was also reading this a couple places, that some of the exits were blocked off.
Mm.
Oh shit! See.
Why would exits be blocked off? But I'll let you go, and then I'll say my thing real quick.
I'm glad you're going that too.
Ooh.
I'm gonna be on top of that too.
Yeah.
So, if they're talking about security being tighter in hotels, like airports, you go through the fucking scan, the X-ray machine,
Booty hole checks.
right?
Right.
They can't do that shit at hotels. That's
No.
invasion of my privacy.
Mm-hmm.
What I take into my room is what I take into my room. That's none of the hotel's business. I'm paying you to stay there, not know my shit. I do have a problem with them like trying to check bags and shit. I might have some weed. I might have some alcohol that I don't want to buy in your fucking damn shops there. Who knows? But that little thing about them checking bags or trying to develop a system where they could check people's bags, fuck you. No. Hell no. Invasion of my privacy. It was going to make it safer for everybody else where they could feel safe. You know what? Don't go to Vegas. How about don't go outside? Stay in your house all day.
That's yeah. I got a lot to say about what you just said, but that's going. Let's finish this real quick, and then we'll get back to that. Can you finish what you were saying about the exits being blocked?
No, they just told me that some of the directions that they were trying to leave when they started shooting, they were blocked off by like walls of whatever, or like they were just literally like locked. So why would there be exits, especially if in emergencies? There has to be, exits are supposed to be open regardless of where it's at. Why would they be blocked off? The whole what we talked about before, the motive. I think it was staged. For a gun ban. That's just my thing.
Well, what do you mean?
It's easier to point fingers at, oh, we need to ban guns because of what happened. First off, if it's just him by himself, or if it's 4 or 5 people, they're shooting or whatever, wherever they're at, exits are blocked off, so people can't get out. Of course, there's going to be more casualties because people are trying to leave. They're going to trample over everybody else. And that just adds on to, people die like that, people get hurt like that, so it just adds up numbers. So it's easier to point at people or point at, let's take guns away from people.
That's true.
That's what I think.
That's true.
When that shit was happening, even I read something about Hillary Clinton. As soon as it happened, she was like, "Oh, take guns away, everybody." Like that's just stupid. There is a Wikipedia? I believe it went up an hour before or an hour after, and it had like 100,000 hits on it already. It was like something 2017 Vegas shootings. For real?
Yeah.
So there's just gonna be a Wikipedia page up.
Yeah.
Already. That shit don't make sense to me. I believe it's staged. Just because of that purpose.
And the fact that real people got hurt this time is what's drawing more attention to it. Almost like Sandy Hooks, where we had one but crisis actors. If you don't believe in Sandy Hooks was real, please research crisis actors and look at the actors who were displaying themselves as reporters and as people were being interviewed. Now people say that their kids were taken, they were killed, but those same kids were doing commercials and doing other crisis acting.
Where are their grave sites? Where are their grave sites?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Before we go back to you, because I know you got a question, Spaceman. Let me get his motive real quick on why do you think, like what do you think the motive was for this gunman? Like just
he was paid off. It was staged.
It was all staged.
That's what I believe.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it was staged.
Got it. Okay. Before we move to you, Domo, Spaceman.
I was just saying, every time we have a shooting in this country, they instantly talk banning guns, and it seems in the recent decade that it's been a lot more frequent than in the past. And I don't understand the idea behind it. We won't be more safe. It'll just be easier for them to take away the rest of our Constitution. It's like we're so adamant about freedom of speech, but here's the deal. They're already constricting it by constricting the media. And if they take away the Second Amendment, we have no right to defend the first one. And there goes that. So,
preach, spaceman.
you know, if you look at the situation, as I stated in my previous comment, was these guys are targeting areas and places where they know they can do massive damage without being returned fire upon. If you go in an area where people are armed, and you try to commit this, you're going to be gunned down in seconds. And any incident we don't hear about where someone goes into a place where there's someone who has a concealed carry permit, they get dropped real quick. And then you never hear about it. And on top of that, some of these shootings that happen, they like to say that, hey, it was done by an AR, but it was done by a handgun. The most common gun crimes are committed by handguns because they are easy to conceal. So, given that, we need to understand that if even Chicago, one of the worst crime ridden, the governor, whatever, has been trying to get rid of guns or whatever, and when something happened and they laxed up and conceal carries where it went through in an abundance there for a little bit, their crime rate dropped. Because now a criminal has to think, if I'm going to rob this guy, I now have a 50-50 chance that he's armed. You know, whereas prior, I have a good 90% chance that he's not armed.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about ratios that way, you know, the thing is to be smart and intelligent with this. You know, we do need, I think, regulation in place as far as, hey, if you're going to be a gun owner, you have to go take gun classes. Not just take a written test. You have to go be signed off that you can properly take care of this gun, handle this gun, and that you can store it and keep it away, you know, from anyone who have access to it. If you've got children in the house, obviously very young children, you want to make sure you teach them that, hey, this isn't a toy. You take them out to the range with you. You show them this is not a toy. You show them that they're not to touch this without, you know, you being present or for any reason other than protection. You know, not saying hand the kid the gun and say, hey, you're going to defend the house while I'm gone.
Right.
You keep that locked up. But you know, hey, if you're not home and you have this and that, this is just in case. You don't fire, but you got to start teaching them young. So that way they don't go and do stupid stuff. But you also have to be responsible as an adult. You've got to be able to have that thing locked up. Otherwise, you will be held responsible for whatever tragedies occur.
I like that. I like that. Dumbo, please shine some light on us.
Okay, I was just reading up on it right now. What you said earlier about that he had to stage this just right timing. Now, 4 of the guns that were on scene at the Manhattan Bay, 2 were mounted to the window on the topest floor, and then the one on the second side. One was an M60. Now, if you're looking at a military grade light machine, M60. No, M60.
Oh.
M60.
So,
It's a light machine gun. It's a military grade weapon. Someone with so much money could purchase that. Not a person with just regular base income, making 4 digits, 5 digits, 6 digits, could buy a military grade weapon. Let alone have drum feeders on scene, not be able to get that through the doors unnoticed. Those drums are big as fuck. How in the hell are you gonna go? Those things are too damn big to go through a fucking door without being noticed, and let alone they're heavy as hell. So how did he get an M60, M249 saw, and mount them both on the windows without letting somebody notice? You cannot just hurry up and mount something like that. It takes time.
Right.
So if he shot out the window and then he mounted it, someone had to have seen him right away. You cannot just go there, and let alone. They're saying that they found multiple AR-15s in this room. Okay. If he's going to have 10 AR-15s, why is there nothing stating about the second shooter that they seen, supposedly? But it has to be multiple people carrying those weapons. Those weapons alone are heavy as hell.
Right.
If it takes a full military guy, a Marine, to hold one, and let alone hold fire on it, he drops it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
He can't hold still in one spot, even with the brackets to hold it in place. It still shakes as fuck.
That's true.
So there's someone has to hold it, somebody has to fire it.
Mm-hmm.
And think of the windowsill. The windowsill is only about 2 inches, 3 inches long. The bracket alone is about, it's like a tripod basically. So you don't have no room to mount a tripod onto a window.
No.
Other than that,
You're right. It's crazy.
yeah, it's crazy.
I don't get it either.
Yeah, the M60. I would have did like way more.
If you look at a picture of the M60, that
it's sad to
shit's
say,
huge.
but I would have did a lot more casualties with that.
Yeah.
Like especially firing off into the crowd, you did.
Exactly.
And you just, and especially if you said he had multiple jump feeders, like switch 100 rounds or however many
And then
rounds
you-
you got in there, like bruh, like
Especially for a high popular hotel, they have everyday room service maintenance services. So they go on there on a daily basis to clean it.
Exactly.
What if they have seen something like that? What if they reported it right on the spot? If they were to see something like that mounted on the window ready to go, someone would have reported it right away.
Right. Yeah. Now,
Let alone.
Well,
I like what you just said. Go ahead, Spaceman.
they may not have seen it because as we all entered hotel rooms, you could put that damn do not disturb thing and they won't go in there.
That's
So
what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
that's
if
what I'm
it's up
saying
there
as
the
well.
whole time, they're not going to go in there. They're not going to see it.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't want them to see anything.
Now this, and that's true. Everybody, great points on that. But this, we're gonna wrap up this conversation because I don't want to talk too much about it. It's very emotional. Now, but this is what I do want to touch base on. So, you brought it up to my attention that the whole time we didn't know if this was like a terrorist act, an ISIS act or whatever. But the whole time they said, well, what they say?
And the,
All
right, so when I found out this was going on, we was on Xbox that night. We was playing Xbox. I just happened to scroll through stuff, talking to some friends, whatever, that was actually there. Boom, boom, boom. That's all I heard in the background. End the conversation. So I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? Boom, hit the news up. There's a shooting. Okay, so in the beginning, the news people, whatever, I caught your ass. You called him a terrorist in the beginning. And don't try to deny this shit because I heard you. A couple people heard you too. Terrorist was the word that you used. All of a sudden, they changed it to lone wolf. Why? I mean, this is my opinion. Don't get me wrong. It could be whatever y'all want. But
I'm in that boat.
they changed the name to lone wolf because he was white.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to terrorist? What he did was an act of terror.
Mm-hmm.
So why not call him a terrorist? In California, or I guess federal, whatever, would you like to explain the terrorist definition?
No, go ahead.
Everybody?
Go ahead.
Everybody
You
knows
got
what
this
it
one.
is.
You got
It's
that whole
what is it,
Al-Qaeda
like
look
a
going.
unlawful act of harm with some bullshit. I don't even remember what the fuck this shit was.
I got you. No,
Sorry,
good.
so-
A terrorist is any individual or group doing any harm in a scale, whether it be violence or anyways, to cause damage or mass hysteria, which in this instance is a terrorist act.
Exactly.
It's a tactic.
So
It's not a group.
political
It's not
degree,
really.
whatever the fuck it says.
Terrorism is a tactic.
Yes.
So I mean, this whole thing of like war on terror is absolute BS. You can't fight a tactic of war.
Right.
We commit terrorism across the world with some of the things that we've done to people. Okay, in response to fight terrorism. That's just that's what war is. It's acts of terrorism. Now these are domestic terrorist ideals. Regardless of any group trying to take credit for it, we have groups like the neo-Nazis, the KKK, all these type of groups are terrorist groups. They're domestic terrorist groups. But we don't like to group them with that because they're full of white people. I was like, they're trying to commit terror amongst a group of people. So there are terrorists.
Yes.
Plain and simple, period. Any gang is a terrorist.
Yes.
Period. No matter what you affiliate yourself with, whatever your cause is, whatever you believe, if you are out there committing any sort of violence against another group or any sort of people over whatever, you are a terrorist. It's just plain and simple. It's what it is. You're not defending anybody. You're saying you're defending your territory, this and that type thing. What territory are you defending?
The light post that's owned by the city.
Right? The house that
Vine
technically
Street.
is on the property, which no
They're
one
renting.
actually owns anymore. The government owns almost all the property now, unless your family owns land still from way back before the government decided to seize all of it. And you're just paying rent.
You're right. And I agree with you 100%. I think it's because no white man in this country can be considered a terrorist and everything
Because it's their country.
it's their country. Okay? And we're not racist
It's
people.
our country.
Yeah.
That's not my country.
It's my country.
It's my country.
It's my country.
But at the same time, there was
Oh,
a
okay.
black man.
No.
Listen. There was a black man in Texas who shot up a lot of police officers. He was immediately called a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Even
wasn't
after, even after they found out when he was black, still a terrorist and stuff.
Yeah.
But in this situation, he was a terrorist before they knew his race. But when they found out he was white, he was a lone wolf.
And going back to that shooter from Texas, when they found out his religion, they tried to tie it to Islam or extremists, as if it was for us. What did religion have to do with it? He acted on his own, without religion.
Yeah.
They have a lot of these things where they try to tie it up to use it for their benefit, for whatever the cause may be, the distraction. A lot of this kind of crap they just like to throw in their face so they can pass stuff there in Congress that we won't know about, but we are certainly held to suffer the consequences because we're not paying attention to it.
No.
It's like this whole thing with they've been trying to repeal healthcare and replace it with something far worse.
Yeah, and then that didn't even go through.
But they're trying to do all this other stuff. Like maybe if
In
we keep
between,
throwing this stuff out there, we can get this through.
Right.
So one of the greatest things that happened in Roman Coliseum when they actually built it, one of the greatest ploys that they did was to distract the people through entertainment,
yeah.
through games,
Yeah.
the Olympic Games, and the Coliseum. That's what we're facing now.
No,
Yeah.
we have a magnitude of them too.
Yeah.
And
Basketball, football, baseball, hockey, soccer.
Fuck.
But this main lone
video
wolf thing
games.
kind of
Video
caught my
games.
attention because everything that happens, like you said, the black dude, where'd you say, in Texas?
Yeah, in Texas.
He's instantly known as a terrorist. He's not. Basically, the federal shit is terrorist is something about to a political whatever.
Right.
That's what the terrorist says that shit at the bottom of the definition. Fuck that shit. Also, this is what I want to read you guys. Boom. It says, before the blood on the pavement was dry, media outlets had already labeled Paddock a lone wolf, which many read as code for white. When Muslims and people of color commit acts of violence, they often are labeled as terrorists instantly, without a motive, without them knowing a motive, without anything. They're terrorists. But white mass murderers like Dylan Wolf, who shot 9 in South Carolina church, James Holmes, who killed 12 in a Aurora, Colorado movie theater, just like all the other ones, Sandy Hook, Columbine. Like this says, they're frequently designated disturbed individuals or lone wolves. Why not a terrorist?
Why not a terrorist?
Yeah, the only one I remember them, at least in our lifetime, calling an actual terrorist, that was what was it, Timothy McVeigh, the Unabomber?
Oh, yeah.
That was it.
Yep.
But the Unabomber didn't go after just the people; he was going after the government. If you actually go into
That's
his
actually
That's
a documentary,
federal-
yeah.
and so he actually did it for a reason.
One more thing. Also, I want you to know, the nightclub shooter, he's labeled a terrorist. Why? Because he's Muslim.
Yeah. Anybody of
He's-
color.
He was upset because his parents didn't accept him to be gay.
Boom.
There's nothing political about that shit.
Yeah.
Man,
That's his own self shit. That's his family shit.
Yeah.
But he's a terrorist because of
him being
religion,
Religion.
color. So that really caught my attention. I'm sorry, Sludge, you go on.
no. We'll go to that terrorist
That's
group.
all I got.
There's a documentary on Netflix and on YouTube. I recommend you guys check it out. It actually shows the in-depth reason why the Unabomber did what he did. I'm not saying that he should have done it. I don't respect what he did, but I understand the reasonings, and I understand why when people flip out and want to go against the government, and anarchy still exists to this day.
Do you know the name of the documentary?
I do not.
You do not.
No. I'm gonna find it out.
Just look it up, people. We'll try to get back to that.
The shooter. The Vegas
But this is just a touchy topic, people. That is just touchy. And
This last thing.
Okay.
Also, what I didn't understand is that it happened in Nevada. The media was from Nevada. Nevada actually states him as a terrorist by their NRS 202.441 act of terrorism defined, which is the act that involves the use of attempted use of sabotage, coercion, or violence which is intended to cause great bodily harm or death to the general population. But why did they still change it to lone wolf when in Nevada's laws he's a terrorist?
There's
That's all I gotta say.
no. So we're gonna wrap it up.
I know. I just want to get to that. What you guys were asking about the Unabomber. It's called the Unabomber documentary. It came out January 29, 2017 this year. It is 15 minutes and 10 seconds long. I recommend you guys view it. There is a TV series called Manhunt Unabomber, and it started this year.
Nice. Well, you got it, people. Like we said, we're sorry. We're sorry for your loss.
Yes.
We're so sorry for your loss. You don't understand.
But there's so much political shit behind this.
Yes, it is.
It's not even funny no more.
It's not even funny.
It's not fair to the families or the victims.
And that brings us to our next subject. Trump.
Hit the like button. Don't keep tapping it like everybody else can, because you only get one like regardless of how many times you tap it.
Exactly.
Subscribe, share us, let your peoples know. Comment if you would like us to talk about anything that you would like to know about.
Your sister, your cousin. Hey,
or
she's cute.
children for him, supposedly. But we ain't gonna.